Motocross the game officially, teaser got released. The Kickstarter got released. So today we're going to talk about everything Motocross the game related. We have a bunch of questions from you guys from all social medias. I mean, I got a bunch of questions. Doc got a bunch of comments on his stuff regarding the game. So we're going to try to answer everything that we possibly can. All right. So before we get into that though, I want to talk a little bit about Doc's backstory of how he even got involved in this, because one day I'm over here chilling. You just be like, all right, here's an NDA, bro. Do this. And I'm like, what is this? And so how did you get involved? All right. How did you get involved?
So I'll give you the short version. Basically, I'm always trying to expand my brand at RD, and I'm always thinking, all right, well, let's do RD music or RD tracks. And I decided to start thinking about long term, because I can't just play video games for the rest of my life. I can't just play MX bikes forever. So
I'm already bored of it.
Yeah, same. I was thinking, 4-10 years down the road, like, what does this brand look like? And I had the idea to maybe make a game. Well, couple issues with that. I'm homeschooled and have no money, and just really, not really the guy to do that. But I couldn't get out of my head and just kind of kept thinking, man, like every day, I just had this vision and just kept having I was adding things together about like, oh, this was what the game would look like. This is what the team would be. I started writing it all down. And one day, this is true. Okay. Promise. This is exactly how it happened. I crashed an MX bikes and got some of the most wonk physics ever. And I got
Stop
frustrated.
The cap. Stop the cap.
I'm not even kidding. It's
Oh
exactly what happened. I crashed, got some goofy physics, and decided to message the team that I had come up with and said, you know what, let's make a game. I have nothing of value. But you do. So yeah, let's make a game. I have ideas. And well, one of those people was Nico, and he basically immediately hit me with an NDA where he said, hey man, yeah, where did you get these ideas? Because, well, the game that you just pitched to us is basically a game that I've been working on for quite some time, and the team that you pitched is the team that I want or have, and you were also on that list to help us with marketing. And so I said, sure, sounds good.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You just had an idea, and your idea was already in motion, man. And you're kind of just like the final piece, plugging everything together and making it where it is right now. That's actually insane, to be honest. That's really insane.
It's like weirdly accurate too. Like the vision that I had wrote down and proposed, like weirdly accurate to what they were already working on. And to me, it just shows that that's clearly the hole in the market that needs to be filled, right?
Yeah.
Like the vision that those of us that are hardcore gamers and sim players and that ride, I used to ride, but that used to ride or ride, the hole that I was looking to fill, they were already filling.
That's insane. That's incredible that your vision was already being in motion without you even noticing, and you just stepped in and you're just taking off, man. That's that's incredible. So yeah, it's this little backstory. Yeah, one day he was just like, yo, Josh, check your email. I was like, all right, cool. It was an NDA, obviously, for the teaser. If you guys didn't know, we released it on socials. And bro, I messaged him and I'm like, what the hell is this, bro? This looks incredible. Okay. And yeah, I'm super excited to be, I'm honestly excited that I know someone part of this so we could talk about it. And that's really all I'm really excited about. But let's talk about the game a little bit. So describe me Motocross the game in one sentence.
I would say the most realistic motocross simulation experience possible in a game.
There you go. That's a run-on sentence for sure, but that is definitely a sentence.
Yeah, no commas, maybe homeschool or periods or anything.
All right. So now you guys know what motocross the game is. Let's talk about the team behind it. All right. Because there's a bunch of guys here that we already know from the scene of MX bikes. So talk about the team involved with motocross the game.
So Nico or Mook Lab owns it, has been funding it. He is kind of the mastermind behind the whole thing. Although I'd like to think I was the mastermind. No, I'm just kidding. They were already involved before. I sent them the email. No ideas were stolen whatsoever. And then we have Stone Rider, who is a big part of it as well. Jonathan or JV, who, if you guys don't know who JV is, or Stone, really. Yeah, have you guys been playing MX bikes ever? Because those guys have basically, with the help of Hell Machine as well, carried the pro scene with the aerial tracks, because those guys were reason aerial exists. And then I already mentioned him, but Hell Machine, who is just also just wildly talented. And then we have John or JVDL, who has been doing a lot of the tires and just the understanding of the physics side of MX bikes. That's been a lot of John.
Didn't
We have myself.
JVDL also create the logo?
He did. He does do. He's a
multi-talent
graphical mastermind. Yeah, and so is Eric. Both of those guys, from a 2D perspective, those guys are just, it's really cool. I'm really excited because if I have an idea, I'm like, hey, what if we did this? And then there you go. And I give it to them, and it turns out 10,000 times better than I could have imagined, because I'm not smart.
I need those people on my payroll too.
It's like, hey, I want to make a graphic, for this, and I think it would be cool. I'll apologize now. I haven't really given them a lot of direction whenever I ask for graphics. I'm like, hey, I want this graphic. They're like, okay, what do you want it to look like? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I want it to be
That's
cool.
me too. That's me too, man.
I want it to look good. And that's where you come into play, because I don't know. And every time I'm just blown away. And then we have me, which is interesting. And then our newest addition is Chris, or Checkers, who has been just invaluable so far. I have been working with him very, very close. Obviously, I do a lot of the business development side of things, so the marketing, the partnerships, the relationships, that sort of thing. And then Checkers has also been helping bridge the gap between people that I don't know, or just putting me in touch with people so that I can run with it. And then, of course, we have.
If you guys didn't know, Checkers he's the marketing director at Racetech. The Racetech brand IRL. All right, Racetech that you see everywhere. That's him. Okay, that's marketing director Chris. Okay, Checkers. He's also an OG. I mean, like super OG MXM guy.
He also worked on my favorite MX vs ATV of all time, Alive.
Stop the cap. I know. Reflex all day, baby.
Reflex. But Alive had the Stewart compound, and that was freaking cool, man. And he was the mastermind behind that whole thing. I cannot tell you how many laps I spun on that track.
I probably did a lot too, let's be real.
I mean, literally tens of thousands of laps on that track. And he was the mastermind behind that whole thing. And then we have Steffi Boo, who is also helping business development. And if you guys don't know who she is, she runs in Esports and helped drastically with the EICMA, the LAN event that we had. Okay. So she's going to be helping the esports side.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, the team is about as stacked as possible. And, people like JV, I mean, these aren't just people that got good at something because it was a hobby. I mean, JV is a legit professional in 3D art. I mean,
don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he worked on Star Wars, right?
Yes, he did some work in the Star Wars. Yeah, in the Star Wars franchise. And I know another one of them was Lost in Space, which is on Netflix. I mean, we're talking world-class
That's his
just
career. Like, this is his career. Like, that's insane.
It's incredible, and it's really a blessing to have this team as the team. And on top of these folks here, we have, I keep pointing here at my monitor, by the
Also,
way.
Priscilla.
Yeah, Priscilla. She is helping with marketing in the back end as well. And then we also have a team in France that is our physics department, which John also helps with the physics as well. But our head physics engineer is based overseas, and there's a whole team of developers that's doing all the things over my homeschooled head.
The coding.
Like the coding, things like UI, just making sure
the
the track
important
data
stuff.
works. Yeah, all the stuff that makes a game that you don't realize you need.
Yep. Makes sense.
So huge team, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Kickstarter as well, and just the squad and everybody, and bro, it's incredible to see some of the guys that we know on a daily basis. JV, DL, you got Hell Machine, JV, Stone, Nico. Like, we know these guys from bikes, and we know that they're going to bring some amazing stuff over to this game. Like, go look at their tracks, man. Look at what they tried to accomplish this past year with like design and graphics and stuff like that. And it's just going to get better. And the engine that's going to be in this game, the Unreal Engine 5, it's just going to look incredible. It's also cool to see like some like IRL type of guys on the team as well, like Checkers from Race Tech. You got Steffi. It's also been a part from the thing over here, from the Kickstarter. It says 3-time motocross world champion. I mean, that's
she
insane.
might be like the best to ever do it as a female.
That's insane. Like, the team that we have, I'm not even part of this. Okay, the team that they have is,
I mean, it's we as a community,
yeah, community, I guess. But the team looks incredible. Like, I'm super excited what they can do. So,
yeah, it's definitely stacked. That's for sure.
Okay, so that's a little background on like the team, the studio, motocross, the game, like what it is, Doc's background a little bit. But now let's get into the nitty gritty. All right, everybody wants to know about all of the game, or like the entire game, like what it comes with and stuff like that. So let's talk about some of the game features. All right. First off, when will the game come out? I get that a lot.
Yeah, so do I. If you look at the website, it actually says that we are Okay, that was a little passive aggressive.
That was a little aggressive there. That was a little aggressive.
No, okay, run that back. According to our that's still passive aggressive.
That's going on TikTok.
We are aiming for a end of the year Q4 2025. That's the current goal right now.
Okay. That's if you guys don't know math, that's about a year from now. All right. So okay, that's very interesting. Within that time, we'll get into this a little bit, but within that time frame, there's going to be like a demo out, an alpha out, beta out, stuff like that. So we'll get into that when we talk about the phases coming up here. But be on the lookout for next year, 2025, fall 2025. And then another question I get asked a lot will be, how much is the game?
So again, I'm going to put on my little PR hat here, and I'm going to direct you back to the Kickstarter, where for the MTG Privateer Rider tier, you can purchase for $49 a package that includes a key to the game.
There you go. Okay. That's very PR of you. All right.
I have to put a mixture of very PR and then normal talk,
All right. So another question I get asked is, and we kind of already like stated this earlier, but a lot of people are asking, is it going to be an arcade style or a sim style? And if you guys listen to his one sentence description, run on sentence over there, it's going to be a sim style, but you can elaborate a little bit more if you would like.
Yeah, we're really looking to make just the best simulator motocross game that's ever existed, you know. And I know when we say the word simulator, there's a lot of, I guess, the casual side of the gaming community that also gets a little worried, you know. So that's some of the turnoffs from bikes and or sim is that, man, I gotta grind to get good at this game. I can't just get on and play. We're aware of that, and I believe that there will be, you know, our goal is to have some assists, if you will, to make it more friendly. But the core of the game is going to be directed at the simulator
I think
and the sim player.
to play off of that, I'm pretty sure even like MX Sim has like an assist type of version, so they can have like a little bit ease into it. Okay, so you guys know it's not going to be arcade, all right? It's not going to be like Monster Energy Supercross. It's not going to be like MXGP. I would say it's going to lean towards more of the bikes and sim style, obviously with it being a simulator, but it's probably going to be even better if like there's an actual whole dev team, everybody working on it. So also, this got released today. I forgot to bring this up, but there's a whole article on physics that got released. So sum that up for us a little bit.
And that's something, we're calling it the virtual motocross simulation. And that is something that I've seen a lot of people, I guess, in comments talk about, where, you know, it's an Unreal Engine 5, so it's going to be arcadey. And I think people really associate Unreal Engine 5 with some of the arcade games out there, or more arcade-like games. And the thing that I really would like to drive home, and what we did with the physics update today that we put out on Kickstarter, was that the physics engine is built from scratch, from the ground up. Our head physics developer has built everything from tires to the rider weight to the geometry of the bike to the wind, the aerodynamics. Everything is built from the ground up on the physics side.
Yeah. I saw there's a statement on that article, okay, that sums this up perfectly. Our goal is to make the game that has the same level of physics accuracy for motorcycles as an iRacing or a Assetto Corsa would have for cars.
Yes, sir.
No arcade-ish behavior, no scripting, no shortcuts when it comes to aerial gameplay, as seen in many games. Only cold, hard physics moving the bike and rider. And for me, that immediately standing out for me. Like, I was reading this, talking to Doc, and I'm like, whoa, like, that's huge. If you can get similar, like, physics as, say, in iRacing, I don't know if you guys know this, but some of the best drivers in the world play iRacing because it's so similar to real life. They use iRacing as practice for real life racing. So, obviously, it's probably not going to be like that for motorcycles. It's got to be kind of hard, but potentially it might. You never know. But that makes it impressive. Very, very impressive. Also, in the article, man, they were talking about how they want to do accurate rider movement, what Doc kind of just described. Realistic engine sounds, stuff like that. Tuning possibilities, realistic multi-axis aerodynamics, which is what that second sentence said. They want to make sure that the air physics is basically like amazing and not no arcadey type shit. And I'm here for it, man. I am here for it. I'm so tired of my guy elbow just on bikes. You know what I'm talking about. Your elbow just stays there. You know what I'm talking about. But anyways,
it ruins a lot of screenshots.
I will have this article, this update article in the description. You guys need to check it out if you guys haven't already. Definitely check it out.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. It's very well written, and there's a ton of information in there that gives you a really good understanding of the direction and vision of the team.
And then, so now going back to the Unreal Engine part here, I got a question asked. How will the game look? Is it going to look like MXGP? Is it going to look like Supercross? Is it going to look like MX Bikes? Or is it going to look like MX Sim? And I will tell you right here, right now, it will never look like MX Sim, okay? MX Sim was from 2007. Like, that shit is so old. The graphics haven't been updated. I don't even know when the last time that graphics was updated. So I'm assuming, hypothetically, it's going to probably lean towards more of the Supercross style, like, looking. But it's probably going to be even better because, as we mentioned before, it's in an Unreal Engine 5. So that's going to look incredible.
you have to take the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5 and you combine that with the capabilities of the team. And really, I just go back and I look at take Southwick from this year's aerial outdoor series. They posted the Southwick photo to Instagram. This is an MX bikes, by the way, an engine that's just old and
Not as old as
and
Sim, but it's old.
yeah, it's not easy to work with, and it doesn't have the necessary tools for it to really shine. And they created Southwick, posted it on Instagram, and the owner of Southwick said he struggled to like see the difference between a real life shot, and that was in bikes. So take that same team that pulled that off in bikes and then put them in the toolbox and the world of Unreal Engine 5. And I think you're looking at potentially the best looking motocross game you've ever seen.
I think it's going to look incredible. I mean, just think about like Supercross and MXGP stuff and just times that by 5. It's going to look that good. All right. It's going to look spectacular. We're not going to get comments on our Instagram or TikToks anymore like that shit looks trash. Okay. We're going to get some great comments.
Yeah, I don't think you'll need to run reshade anymore.
I need to figure out my reshade on some of the maps, man. I was playing last night. I was trying to get some clips. Bro, I got blinded by orange. And I'm like, that's not happening. And I was like,
any red dirt track, bro, I got to turn it off. It's so bad.
Yep. Okay, so that's kind of some of the stuff related to like the physics, as well as like the graphics and stuff. But now I want to talk about a question probably will get asked in the future a lot. And that is, will there be like realistic items in the game? So I know how in bikes there's like realistic tracks, realistic bikes, and I wouldn't say riders, but like gear.
Sure.
Will there be hypothetically like any realistic tracks, riders?
So obviously, I will say the goal is to have as many partnerships as possible, really. Now, licensing is a long, difficult process, but yeah, I mean, we would love that. We would love that.
Okay. I think down the road, if there is capabilities of doing it, I think that would be huge, right? With the license, obviously, it all comes down to licensing, though. Like with the game being what it entails, it all comes down to the licensing of the game and stuff like that. Before we get any further, though, I forgot to even bring this up. Will this game be on console? Will this game be cross-play capabilities?
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that for TikTok here. Will Motocross the game be on console, and will it have crossplay?
So that's a huge part of our vision, is to make Motocross the game available on console and PC. And because it's built in Unreal Engine 5, it creates, I don't want to say easy, but the opportunity to make crossplay a very real thing. And so that is the goal, to have Motocross the game on console, PC, crossplay.
That is huge. That is massive, because
huge.
How many times a day do you get, is this on console for MX bikes, man?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I get at least 3 to 5 a day.
Yes.
It's insane. So to have a game that's similar to what bikes is, and having it on console for people that only want to play console and PC, I think it's going to be huge. And the capabilities, hypothetically, to have it cross-play is going to be massive as well, because we were talking about this a little bit before, but like think about the player base for like MX versus ATV Legends, right? I would assume, off the top of my head, with not reading any stats here, the majority of the player base is on console. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you can now somehow bring those guys over and play MX versus ATV Legends as well as Motocross the game with the PC guys, and somehow be able to cross-plat that, it's going to be massive, man. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, the audience potential is, I think, far larger than anybody really thinks. I think people, when they think about a motocross game, that you have to be a a fan of the genre. But even in MX Bikes, a game that's more like very niche down and hard to get into, and the barrier of entry is difficult. There's a lot of people I've seen through the years that have been like, yeah, I've never seen a dirt bike race in my life. I saw a dirt bike game and wanted to play it. And so I don't think that the audience is necessarily just the I mean, obviously it's majority motocross fans, but I think especially with console, I mean, you think about younger kids that are just scrolling through and they want a racing game, right? Or something like that. There's the audience is huge, I guess is my point. And console, it console to PC, I think it opens that door 5 to 10 fold.
And bouncing off of that right there, how many people enjoy racing games and like car racing games? And like,
right,
if you enjoy car racing, you're going to dabble in some two-wheel racing, whether that's street bike, maybe motocross. Sure. And so the capabilities of going on console and then cross-plat with PC guys is just, I think it's massive. We're actually talking about this earlier, that the MX Bikes like shop player base, just people that have accounts, it's like over 70,000 people.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's insane.
I didn't realize how big it was, because you see the Steam charts, people think, I see like 4,000 concurrent players, and my brain always went to like, okay, so there's maybe like 7,000 people playing bikes, but I mean, 70,000 unique accounts on the shop is crazy. And you got to think that according to my comment section, most people don't want to buy paid tracks, right? And so there would have to be, I would think, 20 to 30% more players than that number that haven't registered on the shop because they don't want to spend any money, right? And so, yeah. I mean, that puts it in like MX Bikes is near 100,000 players or something like that. That's insane.
Crazy. That's wild to me, man. Shout out to Paboso, man, but that's insane. Okay, so talking a little bit about crossplay, and yeah. I get this a lot too. I see this a lot in the comments and I kind of think I already know the answer to this, but how would the mod support be for the game?
I think the most we're willing to open up about right now is if you look on the Kickstarter, down on one of our stretch goals was a track creator. And so we definitely understand and value the ability to have, player created content. But beyond that, we're just not ready to say much yet.
That makes sense. It will come in due time. All right.
Yeah.
It'll come in due time. And okay, so that answers some of you guys' questions. Just know that when we get a full answer, I'll let you guys know.
We'll you guys definitely answer that question directly.
And so, okay, so I want to go into the phases before we get into some of the esports questions I have. All right. So there's a bunch of phases on here that lead up into the next year when the game comes out. So phase 4, which is upcoming this early 2025, from the Kickstarter website, multiplayer available in alpha release and 2BA. To be, I don't know what TBA means. To be announced. I'm freaking old.
Okay.
So with that being said, so if you guys are a gold tier from the website, you'll be able to play the alpha, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
In early 2025.
So yeah, the idea behind that is the gold tier is we'll be able to give alpha keys out, and there should be the multiplayer, and that will be a test for us within the alpha to be able to test the multiplayer capabilities as well as the game and further that development. On top of that, I want to, if you go to phase 5, I'm just going to kind of jump ahead of you here. Okay. There is a public demo release. Now, the public demo, my voice cracked, it's fine, is actually free. That'll just be free to the public so that everyone can test play.
Okay.
The reason we locked the alpha behind, a paywall, as people would say, is because we simply need to have more a controlled player base to get accurate feedback. If we opened it up to, thousands of people, and alpha is a very early stage of the game as well. it's very easy for people to take that and run with it and give it a bad name because of how it looks, or maybe there's a bug or something like that. And that's the whole point of an alpha and an alpha test, is to find those issues and work them out. And right. And so we wanted to make sure that that was a more controlled player base. But the public demo will be a free demo for the public that we can get all of your feedback. That'll be a much more polished version of the game. And on the Kickstarter as well, there is another, I guess, perk for some of the packages that's called beta tester. And there's been some confusion I've seen on that. And what the beta tester is a lifelong beta tester. Okay. And what that means is, if after the game's out, right? The game's been out for a year. Say we're going to put in some random new mode, right? Insert whatever mode you think, a new track or a new mode. Well, we will release that to the beta team to test before launch. Similar to how people send me tracks in MX bikes before they put them on the shop. Then I jump on, I play them, and I'm like, yeah, no, this line, whatever, blah, blah, blah. This is awesome. This is sick. And then it gets pushed to the public. So that beta tester is really, in my opinion, a really valuable. I mean, if you're interested in being a part of the team, that's like a long-term relationship with us, and it's not as simple as just you get to play in the beta. You know what I mean?
No, honestly, I think that's really cool because you get to test it out, give feedback, because they're going to be listening to the feedback from the beta testers, because that's where their feedback's coming from, right? So, so I think that's actually really, really sick.
Yeah.
Okay, so then phase 5, public demo. I'm excited about that. All right. And then phase 6 is already when the game's going to get released. This is obviously their like goals for their phases. It could potentially change down the road, just like anything in life. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for even phase 4, man. Like, I'm excited to, I think might be an alpha guy here eventually. But if I am becoming an alpha guy, like if I play, I'm excited about that. For anybody that is an alpha, like, you got to be excited about that, right? And then definitely for the public demo, I am very, very excited. I kind of want to put like the esports thing last, and I'm going down the list here, and I want to do stretch goals. So there's probably some miscommunication with this, because even I was a little bit confused. But can you kind of describe what the stretch goals are for Motocross the game, and make it a little bit, or can you describe like the stretch goals for Motocross the game?
Yeah, I think to do that, I have to kind of explain the entire Kickstarter and why it exists in the first place. There's been a lot of confusion behind the Kickstarter. We make a claim that the game is fully funded, but then why are you putting out a Kickstarter? And that's a fair question, and I totally understand that. So the Kickstarter is there and to simply raise money to help us further our team, to get things done in a more timely manner. And the stretch goals were a visual representation of costs associated with some of the goals that we're looking for. These are all planned and or part of the vision, these stretch goals that we would like to implement into the game. And the very last one is at $3 million. And the idea was, well, it would take that amount of money for us to be able to push all of these goals and features in a timely manner. Now, does that mean if we don't hit the 100,000 at all, that the game's just not going to happen? No, the game's happening, period. Does that mean if you don't hit 200,000 that crossplay is not coming? No, that's a part of the roadmap. It's just the timeliness of that. And that was really just the goal behind the Kickstarters, was let's raise some money so that we can expand our team and keep moving forward at the pace we have been moving.
I think, that definitely clears it up for myself. I mean, I was a little bit confused too. Like, I think, because like when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, okay, so they want to raise a certain amount in order to get something in the game, but that's not the case at all.
It's just there to help us streamline the pipeline of features. And obviously, in any sort of business, the more capital you raise, the faster you can get things done, because if you reinvest the capital back into people, there's just more hands to work on things. And that's just simply what this is.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. If anybody's still confused on it, I'm sorry, but
DM Doc.
Yeah, DM Doc. Don't DM Doc. He doesn't want to have your DMs. But yeah, no, that makes more sense on the stretch goals. I think that maybe eases it a little bit for everybody. Because I mean, some of these features would be insane, and it's already in the pipeline too. So like, I'm very, very excited for a lot of these features, man.
Me too.
It would be incredible. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about a little bit, just a tiny bit, is like the rewards. Well, good. I still want to talk about esports, but I'll do that last. But the rewards. So initially, it was pretty expensive. To be front, it was pretty expensive, and I had a couple of people tell me like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to spend that much. But to me, it looks like from the Kickstarter now, you guys reduced some of the expenses or the reward money. I don't know if you would say expense. I'm just thinking of business mind, but rewards. Sure. So what was your process? What was your like thinking about reducing it?
Honestly, it was just listening to community feedback and trying to make a gesture that we are paying attention. That was one of the gestures that we're trying to make, and just listening to community feedback. And I am very big on self-reflection, and when you put a plan into place, it could be the perfect plan in your mind, but when you put it out to the public, and this goes for, I've learned this through content, right? I have this perfect video idea, perfect thumbnail, whatever, and you put it out to the public and it flops. Really, you don't blame anybody else. You kind of have to look back at yourself. And so that was something that we really tried to do, is we just took the feedback and looked at where can we make an adjustment. And so we tried to adjust some of the pricing.
I think that's huge too. Like, I don't know if we talked about it last time, but listening. Yeah, we did talk about listening to the feedback on the community. Is absolutely like huge, especially when you're like trying to build something from scratch, like you guys are, right? So listening to the feedback, reducing those prices. I think this is definitely more. I want to say feasible, but I'm trying to think of the right word. But more people are more capable or more willing to spend a little bit more to purchase, say, for example, a Discord role, or say, for example, the name in the compound, or the alpha key, right? That got reduced a lot too. So I think personally, listening to that feedback is huge, honestly, in reducing this. I'm honestly excited about all of these. Like I think it's like the VIP at the LAN. I know that's a change for purchase as an add-on, but I was even kind of honestly excited about that when I first saw it, right? That goes to our esports talk a little bit here in a second. But yeah, so just know that they're listening, man. They are listening to the feedback. They want to have this game come out and everybody be excited about it. And
you can ask my wife. I read every single one of your comments, and I read them all.
You're crazy if you're reading every comment, bro. I saw that your TikTok has like your TikTok that the last, not the second to last one, basically showing off the game, like you're I'm part of the game or whatever. Yeah, has like 1 million, and there's like 1,000 comments, bro. Like I literally got scrolled. I got tired scrolling through them, bro. I'm like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
there's so many.
That video did like 650,000 in 24 hours, which is unreal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely. I've never had the video. The only other video that popped off that hard, but it never made it to 500,000, was when I announced the LAN for MX Bikes. I remember that video, in an hour it had 28,000 views or something like that, and then it plateaued at like 300 or 400. But yeah, this one, it actually didn't start out very good. I remember checking it after like 20 minutes, and it was at like 3,000 or 4,000 views, which is like okay.
Yeah.
And then I was doing something and I opened it, a couple hours later, and it was at like 190,000. I was like, oh my, okay,
it's going viral.
We're going, baby. And then it did the same thing on Instagram too. It has like 5 or 600,000 on Instagram too.
Dude, that's always a good feeling inside where you see that thing and it just, it's about to go viral. Like, it's always a little good feeling.
I gained 60, almost, I think 6,500 followers in 24 hours.
Across socials or just one plat?
50, it was like 5,400 on TikTok.
Sheesh.
And 1,100, it was 1,100 on Instagram.
Sheesh.
In 24 hours. It was
Bro,
crazy.
I need your plug, bro. I might just, can you like invite me to collab on that? Like,
You're a dev.
all right. Yeah, that's insane. Okay, so now, let's talk a little bit about esports. All right, there's something on the. I was talking with Doc. I was talking to Doc a little bit before this pod. He can't go over everything. All right, but he can give us a little insight on it. And like the thought process on it, even though it's on the Kickstarter website. But what is like the whole concept or the idea for the esports in this game?
So, are you talking about the paid subscriptions that are on there?
You can talk about that, but you can put that in at last. Like, give us like your.
We'll do that.
Yeah,
so,
like, yeah.
Esports, like it's the biggest thing right now in gaming. Esports is, you look at any of the top games, they're esport games, unless there may be a new game that falls off. But games that continue to do well are esports games, and I think all of us really got a taste of the potential at the LAN last year in Milan. I know I did as someone that played there, and I know those guys did at just hosting the event. And that is just, we're all just passionate about competitive gaming, and esports in an arena is the pinnacle of that. And that's what we want.
Hypothetically, this has nothing to do with the game, but I'm just speaking on an esports concept here. How sick would it be to have like a week to week, like 20, I don't know how many people, but week to week go to each stadium for Supercross and like have an event there every single weekend where Supercross is. Like, you fly the guys out, you have their race. It's pretty big. The esports is good. And I don't know if that's ever happening. I'm just thinking of something in my brain, but that would be sick. Yeah, Doc can't even say anything. He's like, maybe
the potential is insane. There's so much potential, and yeah, I'm excited to continue to develop and release information on that.
One thing I love about like the esports, this goes back to like Call of Duty for me, like the MLG events. I don't know if you like watched them a lot back in the day, but they would have one like every other weekend, man. They were like flying out every other weekend. It was like a huge deal, and it would be like 10 weekends in a row, and then they would lead up to like a mini break to the COD finals.
Sure.
That if that can be organized somehow into bikes, which we already have with like the Supercross and Motocross and then SMX, right? Hypothetically, you could do something where the finals are at the SMX rounds or something like that, right? Or the final is at the SMX Las Vegas for last year or something like that, right? That would be insane. That would be awesome. That would be huge. The scope and money involved with that would be extraordinary. So I don't know. Yeah. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, just esports is just awesome, and yeah,
I love me some esports. Okay, so now touch a little bit on the subscription base for Motocross the game.
Yeah, I think the best way to summarize that in one sentence is think iRacing, but without breaking the bank.
That's perfect. I mean, iRacing is, I think if Motocross the game can be somewhat similar to iRacing in that, like that area, that would be insane. The capabilities in the future, having the similarities to iRacing would be insane. So, I know you can't elaborate too much on it.
I would like to clarify that as far as the subscription side is what I'm talking about, I don't necessarily mean buying every vehicle. So, because I
Okay.
know that's an interesting one where, in iRacing, you have to purchase every car.
iRace, you have to purchase everything, man. Car,
Everything.
track,
Yeah.
like monthly fee. I mean, you got like you want to buy a skin, you got to buy a skin. Actually, you don't have to;
Mm,
those are free. But,
yeah.
um,
Gotta
but
afford my
we definitely have some X Screw skins in there. But
Yeah, but just the subscription service that allows you to race and compete, that's kind of the idea, but on a much more cost-effective, side of things than iRacing.
and I believe eventually down the road we'll get some more information on that
Of
as the
course,
time
of
comes.
course.
So,
Sooner than
um,
later too. Don't worry.
perfect. So that's really kind of everything that I could go over, man. I talked about majority of everything on the Kickstarter. Majority of the questions that I got, I basically summarized them, and that was the whole entire Kickstarter. We went through every single thing, and honestly, the game itself, when it released, I had a lot of people reach out to me like, we're excited about this. We're a little
Mhm.
skeptical, a little bit, because like we don't know
Sure.
what's in store, but we're definitely excited. If the game could be anything like bikes and be on console and crossplay, it's going to be exciting. Um, and just know that, like I was even talking to Doc before we started recording and stuff. Like we're gonna try our best to get as much information as we possibly can to you guys via this podcast. And so that way you guys are in the loop. Well, I even mentioned like, hey, let's have some emergency pods. Like if there's something being released, like let's talk about it same day or next day. So you guys are aware of everything, right? It sounds like I'm part of the game, but I'm not even part of this, man. I just got an insider. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I think, yeah, the skepticism, I know that there's a lot of people that are nervous. And, at first I was a little, I don't know, disappointed just to see how nervous everybody was. But the more I thought about it, I prayed about it and just kind of thought, and I realized like, man, this is a really good opportunity to show integrity and that we care, and to really, show up and put our money where our mouth is kind of a thing. And, the team is there. We have claimed that, we want to be developers that listen and take care of the community and are aware of the community needs, and the skepticism just creates really good opportunity to I don't want to say prove people wrong. I mean prove people wrong, but I don't mean like, I don't want to be like, you were wrong, I was right, but just to show up and to earn the respect. And I think earned respect is better than respect that's just handed out. So
uh,
it's actually almost exciting for me that, okay, people are nervous, but all right, let's do our job.
yeah, it's like basically like, all right, like let's show them like what we have in store. Like let's show them that this game's gonna be great. Like let's.
Yeah.
It is basically like saying like, all right, let me prove these guys like skepticism out of the
Yeah.
window. Like let me prove them wrong in that area, and just be like, hey, we're gonna release a great game. You guys are gonna have fun
Yeah.
with it. You guys are gonna enjoy it.
And that, and that we're committed, right? And I think we're going to talk about this in a couple weeks, but a big gesture of our commitment is we are sending our physics team, or part of our physics team, and myself to California to race tech. These guys are flying time zones, many time zones, right? Like I have
That's
to fly
crazy.
a few time zones, right? I mean, these guys are gonna be absolutely cooked when they get here. They're gonna
They
be
really
so
are.
jet
They're
lagged.
gonna be jet lagged. They're gonna need a bed ASAP.
But we're sending them all the way to Race Tech for a seminar, got into the seminar, and it's like 8 or 9 days too. It's not like a quick little thing, like an in-depth seminar to learn everything that they possibly can so that we can deliver the best experience possible. And a lot of the skepticism is like, oh, well, we've seen this a million times. They're probably not putting any effort into it. And I'm really excited to show you, like, guys, no, this is crazy. Like we are really going above and beyond to try and do our best to deliver the best product possible.
Yeah, I think just flying those guys out and going to Race Tech and doing that seminar, that's going to be huge for the game, man. You're going to be learning
Yeah.
the ins and out of physics of motorcycles, like the
Yeah.
suspension and stuff like that, how that's going to translate to the game. And Like that's honestly insane, man. Like that's incredible. That I know, like if you're like a AAA, yeah, you're gonna be doing that, right? You're gonna be flying to different stadiums and capturing the state. Like, but this is a small team. Like this is a small group of people, and doing that, like you just said, that's commitment. That's like that's huge for the community side, showing like, hey, we're committed to this. We're not giving up. We're gonna release a great game, and honestly, like that makes me excited to see what that like. Hopefully, we could talk about it a little bit in the coming weeks when you come back or whatever. But maybe we can get some feedback of like what all entail, like what you guys learn and how that's going to be incorporated into the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a pretty fun trip. I mean, they've got a lot of work that they're going to be doing. Quite a bit of days of that seminar. But then we have some free days where we're able to, meet with some people from a business perspective, meet with some people on a fun side of things. I know I get to meet in Kellen, which I'm really excited for. SYS.
Shout to Kellen, man.
Yeah, I mean,
we gotta get him on the pod.
I've been, absolutely. I've been a fan of his channel. I mean, like all of us for forever, right? And to now go meet him, I'm pretty excited for. I'm supposed to have sushi with Justin Bogle.
Shout to Bogle, man. Kellen, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, Bogle sent me a picture of like 2 PC setups, and he was like, "I got your spot ready, I guess, in this house." I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna grind some bikes. Let's go." I'm like, "We're about to do an IRL bikes training session. I'm having to do sprints on countryside."
That's funny.
1-lap sprints on countryside.
That is hilarious, bro. Shout out to Bogle, man. Hey, Bogle, if you watch this, hey, join the pod, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure we can work that
out. But no, like if we can get, when you come back, by the way, there won't be a pod next week because he's gone Friday to freaking Sunday or something like that. So I won't see him.
Pretty much.
So when he comes back, we'll do a pod the following week. But honestly, I think you guys would love to hear what all happened. Obviously, he's going to be, I'm assuming you're going to be posting on socials actually, right?
Yeah.
Like across the board.
Yeah.
So,
my socials and mostly Motocross the game, but there'll be stuff on RD too.
All right, so I'll make sure to have everything in the description for you guys to follow if you guys haven't already followed. But yeah, like I'm just excited to hear what all happened in Cali, like the race tech side of things, right? I'm excited to see how that correlates to what will be put in, hypothetically, if you could tell us what would be put into the game and stuff like that. And man, that's actually so freaking sick, bro.
A couple other little surprises too in that trip that will be cool. So
hopefully we could talk about that because I don't know if we can. Okay, thank God. I love some surprises, man. But yeah, that, I mean, I really wanted to, I think we both, I keep saying but we really wanted to get this pod out and just talk about the game and just make you guys a little bit, or make it a little bit easier for you guys to hear all the stuff that's happening in the game and just hear from a dev and a guy that knows a dev. So,
guess we're dev now,
but no, like, I'm excited. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't be excited. I think I will be super excited when I get some gameplay footage. Hopefully soon. Hopefully real soon. Early fall or early 2025 alpha release. But no, with that being said, if you guys have more questions, DM Doc. Don't DM me. I don't know shit. Okay. DM Doc. I'm just kidding. Don't DM him. You can ask him. You can ask us in the comment section. We'll reply to a bunch of them. I think we went over a lot, and maybe we missed a couple. But I feel like I tried to make this in a way where we like kind of structured it, like from the beginning of the Kickstarter all the way down, and ask questions in general of just like how things are going to be working. So I think we did a good job on answering all your guys' questions. If you guys have more, just put them in the comment section. Go comment on his socials. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, we're going to do more pods on this. Whatever brand new news comes out, breaking news comes out, we're going to be doing pods on it. And so be on the lookout for that. The pod won't be back because he's going to Cali. So we're going to miss a week, but it will be back the following week. So 2 weeks from now. So just be on the lookout for that. And with all that being said, you guys better be excited for this because it's freaking exciting. All right.
I'm excited, man.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you, and I'm also excited.
Yeah,
I'd be double excited. I don't know.
It's nice to be able to be to be able to be talking about it. It's been under wraps for a very, very long time, and we've been teasing it for a very long time. So it's cool to be able to talk about it.
It's kind of funny how you guys been teasing it and nobody freaking knew on the tracks.
It's so funny. Like it's so funny because the first teaser was a gigantic orange sticker on Shane McElrath and Freddie Noren's helmet, and people are like, "Oh, Doc, you're making a suspension team." Like, you think I'm gonna sponsor Freddie Noren and Shane McElrath for the Super Motocross finals for an MX bike suspension team? Like, are we good? You know what I mean? Like,
that's funny.
So it was cool. I mean, to see everybody, kind of freak out as we put more stuff. Like, what is this? And yeah, cool to be able to talk about it finally.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll also have. I mean, I feel like the last couple of weeks we've had some breaking news in the game. We had like OEMs and stuff, and now we have Motocross the game. Next week we'll have, 2 weeks from now, we'll have the trip from Cali, and then I got some news that I want to share with you guys. That's pretty big, pretty massive actually for myself. So I want to share with that. You guys probably have already seen it a couple of times on socials from other people if you guys follow the scene, but I want to talk about it all in general, just with Doc in 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, we're excited, and be on the lookout for. You got YouTube videos coming out this week? That's a no. Okay, so he has no videos coming out.
Yeah, we're a little hooked on that side of it. I'm thinking to make up for it. I know I might vlog my trip to Cali.
I would definitely do it. Vlog as much as you possibly can, at least.
I know we're trying to wrap the show up here, but I bought a little the DJI.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, it's sick. It's dude. Like, the thing is cool, the gimbal, right? Like, that's cool, whatever. But the software that it comes with, it can track things. So, like, I put it on the ground and I selected my son, and he was running around the yard, and it just followed him the whole time.
That's sick.
And then he went behind a wall, and so, it broke contact, and then he comes back around, and it picked him back up immediately. It's crazy.
That's sick. You got to vlog that.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to, I think, right. Yeah.
Maybe. Do a little vlog. I don't know, but
like 5 minutes,
3 minutes. TikTok. Do a TikTok. You do the TikTok trip, like, hey, day in the life of going to Cali, and that's it. There you go.
Day in the life of a game dev.
There you go. All right, but anyways, much love, guys. We'll be back here soon. Go check out all of our socials. We'll be posting across the board, and I might be live midnight PST for Australian Supercross Friday night. Oh, Friday. I'm pretty sure it's Friday night.
Shout out to the boys. Shane,
yeah, shout out to the boys, but I might be cooked, but we might be live. So, all right, we're out. Peace.